There are three nevers. One of the three nevers is never lie. When I go into the restaurant and I hear somebody say, Gwendolyn, if you don't eat all your dinner, you can't have any dessert, dear. And 10 minutes later, I hear them say, well, honey, just take a bite of everything. One bite of everything. What are you laughing for? You all do this? And she's stirring her finger in her mashed potatoes. She's been there before. She knows better than that. And Dad says, if you don't eat everything, by golly, you're not going to have any dessert. I'm tired of this. That thing costs $7. Now you eat it or I'll stuff it in your face. Here's this 200-pound dad and this 40-pound little girl. Or 30-pound, whatever they weigh. Little 3-year-old. Is she scared of him? No, she runs the house. She's not afraid of him. And he's getting red in the face. People looking around. And wife says, shh, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of paying for this. She's going to come out here and then she doesn't eat anything. She hasn't had a bite of anything hardly. She ate the pineapple off the salad and that's it. You eat that, you little dickens, or I'm going to reach over and pinch him or something. Okay? You hear me? We mean it this time. We mean it this time. And she sits there and plays in the thing. And then pretty soon Mama says, well, sweetheart, just take one bite of potatoes and one bite of vegetables and one bite of meat. And then you can have dessert. She says, no. Who's running the house? Does she know about this? Well, now what did Dad say? If you don't eat everything, you can't have dessert. Does she believe that? Then Dad must be a liar. Is that right? The waitress comes and says, are you through, sweetheart? Yes. Mom says, well, take it. And guess what? Does she get dessert? Absolutely. Maybe 2. She gets dessert. Yes, yes. She probably gets Dad's dessert too. Okay? I mean, this kid runs the whole house. Now, what Mom and Dad are teaching that child is that what we say doesn't matter. You should never, ever, ever, ever lie. Don't ever compromise or negotiate consequences. If you tell this child, you need to do your work, I know the kids are coming, you want to go to the beach, it's a beautiful day, etc., etc. It's Monday now, on the board here, you got to do all these chores, and if you don't get them done, honey, you can't go. So as soon as your chores are done, you can go. Well, she fiddle-dinks along Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? You got kids like this? And you're starting to think, oh golly, you know, and you can't stand it, you mothers, okay? You call it, you know, reminding. What do they call it? Nag. You know? They've told you. Okay. So what happens is you're reminding, you can't stand it, and all you are is a pest. But now you've gone to this course, and you're not going to say anything all week because they told you don't nag because it doesn't do any good. And so nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens, and come Friday, she stays out late, and then she says, Mama, don't worry about it. I can handle it. I'll get all the bathrooms done and the vacuuming done and the dishes done and everything before noon. Well, she doesn't wake up. And Mama has decided not to rescue, not to get into this, because you think she would really appreciate it if you went and woke her up anyway? No. So Mom just lets her sleep. And about 10 o'clock, she wakes up in a panic because she's got all this work to do. The kids are all there. And now she wants to make a deal. You know Monty Hall? She wants to make a deal. And guess what she says? Oh, Mom, here they come. And if you let me go, I promise, finish it. That when I come back, I'll do it. I'll do it as soon as I come back. I'll do it when I come back. I promise. And Mama says, no, you got to do it this way. She said, no, Mama, please. And these are the good kids. She's got it set up. Oh, a little tear and a quiver in the lip and your little baby. And she's going to talk you right out of it. And so she goes. But before she goes, you make her play the game because this is all a game. And you say, okay, if I let you go this time and you really get a commitment, she promises you the moon. Hey, when I come back, I'll do it. Mama, you won't even have to ask me. You won't even, you heard this. You won't even have to remind me. Promise, Mom. Okay, you promise? Gotcha. You say, okay. Are you a liar? Are you a liar? You're a liar, and you're telling those kids, my word doesn't mean anything. Just come make a deal. And what that does, that puts Mom and Dad in a power position. And Mom and Dad are into that stuff. That feels good to be in the power position, right? Is that true? And you're in it. What do you think people give allowances for? To control. A lot of them are into this. And so she goes, and about 5 o'clock she comes home like this. She's all sunburned. Oh. And where's she headed, people? To bed. And you say, hey, what about, oh, Ma, I can't. Say, she's got hers. You fish for yours. I got mine, sucker. Okay? And you promise yourself, I'll never let trust until next Saturday, and then what? We play the movie again. It's a different kids, a different situation. Same principle. So stop lying. You're telling your kids my word doesn't mean anything. And when they begin to believe that, they know they can argue you out of it, and they can compromise with you. What you're really doing is you're not training them to believe you, you're training them to not believe you, and you're training them to argue and to bargain and to negotiate consequences. You never negotiate consequences. All right, what we're building here is a case where we are teaching the children to argue with us and to negotiate and not face consequences and get out of consequences. And we're telling them that when they do certain things, there are no consequences. And they can bargain out of it. Is that what life is really like? Are we teaching our kids a wrong message here? Uh-huh. Do you think if you go around the curve too fast and you roll the car and you're in the hospital, that we'll just say you get another chance next time because you didn't know this time? Life is very final. And so these children have got to understand that mom and dad never lie. Now, don't just go out and say, no. Know what you're doing. They say, can I go to some place? You say, well, what are the circumstances? I got to think about it. They try to catch you off guard. And you say, well, what about this? Give me some data. Well, I think this, and I think that, and I think this. And you say, well, right now it sounds okay. Let's talk it over with Dad. Because they're going to want to pin you down and then hold you to that answer. You say, right now it sounds okay, but you leave yourself an escape clause, and you say, we'll talk about it later, and I'll give you a final determination after I've collected more data and have a chance to think about it. Does that sound okay or not? Does this make sense, people? Because if you just jump to the thing and say no, it might be that it would be okay to go. Got a question?
Yes. How do you keep from becoming a liar? In other words,
you listen to what you say.
But by the time I'll come to a child and say, listen, if you don't clean up this room, you're grounded for the next 3 years. That's it.
Yeah, that's dumb.
And I've overstepped it.
Now, do you understand that you need to be very careful what you say? And if you were wrong, you say, hey, I had enough data there, and now I've learned this, and I've learned your homework isn't done. And Dad's got something planned, and the answer is no. Yeah, but you said yes. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I said it sounded okay at that point, but we had to check some other stuff, and the answer is no. And once you say no, you stay with it. Because if they can argue you out of it, you're teaching them to argue. You're teaching them to challenge your authority. And then when you give in, you are rewarding them for challenging your authority. Does that make sense?
Okay, to that man previously, I wanted to say that as a school teacher, we're taught that you never threaten a child with something you don't want to follow through. Mm-hmm. Like you wouldn't dare say to a child, if you don't do this, you're going to stay after school for an hour, because no teacher would want to sit around with a child for an hour after school.
And that's lying too, isn't it?
Yeah, and
it's
so
lying.
You have to think, okay, do I want to say he's grounded for 3 weeks? Do I want him in the house for 3 weeks? And then if you kind of remember, then you say 1 day instead of...
Good point. Excellent. But see, what we're saying is don't lie. Don't bluff. Don't say something you're not willing to follow through on. Never do that.
Isn't there such a thing as mercy, though? What we'll do is give a length of time that something has to be done. For instance, you have to go sit in the bathroom now for an hour because you fought with your sister.
Well, that's consequences.
Then after 45 minutes, then the child will say, geez, I've been good and I've been in here for 45 minutes, so can I come out? So in our mercy then, we say, yeah, you've been a good kid, you can go ahead and come out.
Oh, these blue mothers.
Is that lying then?
Is it lying? Is it lying? You say you can't come out for an hour, and now they're going to negotiate and come out in 45 minutes. Is that lying? Yes. You said you can't come out for an hour, and now you say you can come out before the hour's up. Is that lying? Don't say things that you're not going to follow through on. See, we're careless with what we say. And don't say it if you don't mean it. Say you're going to be in there for a half hour or 45 minutes or something, until you're quiet. Or don't put a time limit on it. Timeout should be like 5-10 minutes or something. These big, long timeout things are not what you're not into punishing here. You're into behavior modification. And as long as it changes the behavior, that's what you're after. So we're not punishing. If you can't stand them, say go to your room. But don't make it a timeout issue.
What we've worked out with our kids, and they know this up front, is that they have the opportunity to earn their way off restriction for good behavior, because I feel like if you give a kid 3 days restriction, then they have absolutely no motivation to make life worth living for the next 3 days. They're going to be
I understand what you're saying.
As difficult as possible. So what we do is we say, okay, this is a 3-day restriction. However, if you are cooperative and
like a suspended sentence.
Yes, and you
Probation.
Because see, then they have a motivation to say, okay.
Well, that's
I
just
will
setting up
accept
different.
this.
You've got the condition in there. You say it's 3 days, but on good behavior, this is what will happen. That's part of your, that's not a lie.
So that's not lying.
No, if when you get it set up, but if I tell a kid you can't go because your room isn't clean, and then I let that kid go, I'm destroying my credibility. Now there's a difference here, and you know the difference. And each situation is different. I can't judge on what's right or wrong for you, but you've got common sense and you know what's a lie. And you know what's misleading, and you know what's chickening out. And if you chicken out, you show them you're chicken outable, then they're going to go right for the jugular. And they're going to be arguing with you, and every time you give in, you have rewarded them for arguing and fussing. That means exactly what it says. Be truthful. Don't say you're going to do stuff you don't intend to do. And when you make a rule, that is it. Now, you can change rules, but it's done in a proper administrative way. You do it in family council, and there's talking about it, and there's debate, and you suspend a rule. But when that rule is enforced, that's it. So tell the truth. And stop bluffing. Stop trying to intimidate, because they see right through you. And that's part of your problem, is they don't believe what you say. In fact, I will hear people say things like this. How come I told you no 4 times? And now you've asked me another time. Well, Mama, because now I've told you no 5 times. What's the matter with you? You got brain damage? You don't understand what I'm saying? Well, we've conditioned the child to what? Not accept no. And we allow them to argue and to debate and to make a deal, right? And we have rewarded them for this. And all we do is set up a terrible arguing thing in our home. Because anytime you say no, they challenge it, because they know that every 3 times, once out of every 3 times, guess what? You give in. Or they can talk you out of it, or they can make a deal. And so that's it. Is that an important issue? What if your children knew that you never, ever lied? And that if you said, as soon as your work is done, you can go to the beach. And that was it, and you said it one time, and they know that that would never change. There might be some doubt about whether the sun's coming up. But Mama said no unless I get this done, and so I know that it's more sure that she will be truthful than that the sun come up. You hear me? Does that credibility? And when you say, I love you, does that take on credibility? And when you say, I'm angry at this and this is going to happen, does that take on credibility? And you're destroying your credibility when you lie. And I want to call it lie, because that's dramatic enough to where you pay attention to it. Okay? And I want you to wrestle with this, and I want you to feel bad about this, and I want you to go home and argue about it, and be mad at me about it. Okay? And then I want you to be honest about it. And I want you to make a decision in your life, in your relationships with people, that you will never, ever lie on this basis. Does that make sense? Very valuable, people. Powerful, powerful. And when my kid comes in and says, can I go to the rock concert? And I say, give me the data. It's over here, and it's over there, and it's over here, and it's over there. And I say, no, son. That's it. He knows that that will never happen. That there's not a prayer that he's going to go. Does this make sense? Okay, and that stops it right there. Yes?
I was just curious to know, at what age is it realistic to expect a child to understand consequences?
Well, let me put it this way, ma'am. Okay? They do this with rats. They do this with mice. And through rewards and punishment, we got a whole unit on behavior modification, which is very necessary for you to know about positive reinforcement and extinction and some of those things. How to extinguish behavior you don't want, how to shape behavior that's non-existent that you want to create. And all of that will have a whole unit on that. Now, they do this with rats and mice.